Christmas, a time where people hang out with family and friends, share gifts with loved ones, sing Christmas-themed songs, and watch Christmas-themed movies, both with varying degrees of quality, or wait until Christmas morning so they can open their presents to see if they got that damn iPhone or not. So to celebrate a late Christmas on my channel, today I'm going to look at a Christmas-themed game, that game being Elf Bowling 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Advance. Elf Bowling was originally a computer game that released somewhere in 1998 by N-Storm. The game became an internet hit due to people thinking it was a virus because it was being spread via email and exe files could be attached to emails back in there, as there was no protective software to remove an exe at the time. But it was still played by millions anyway, and it spawned many sequels and ports, including the one I'm reviewing today, Elf Bowling 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Advance, which released on November 28, 2005, with a DS port coming a few days after the GBA version. The port was crapped on by critics across the internet, only receiving a 1.4 out of 10 on GameSpot and a 12 out of 10 at Metacritic. Guess I'll know why by playing the first mode of Elf Bowling 1 and 2 on GBA.
Elf, baby.
In the first mode of the port, the elves end up going on strike due to elf labour being increased because of the rising demand of Christmas toys. So what does St. Nicholas do? Kill the fucking things with bowling balls, yippee! In Elf Bowling, it's bowling with elves, as the bowling pins. And it's shit! By throwing the bowling ball, all you do is press a button and see it shoot off and hope it hits a few elves. There's no preparing or charging your shots, you just press a fucking button, see it shoot off and hope it hits a few fucking elves. That's it. There's no entertaining thing in the game. No music, no major congrats on getting a strike or spare besides Santa giving a ho ho ho, and no pretty visuals, just silence and an occasional elf gag that's mid as hell at best. Cooking up consistent strikes and spares are piss easy to do. All you do is press the down button when the arrow has one orange indicator in the middle, and one next to it on the left or right side, and you will land a strike. Every time. Is what I would say if the elves didn't know how to move out the bowling ball's way. Yeah, for some reason these bastards like to occasionally move out the way to avoid being knocked out of the way and possibly destroy a strike altogether, which is complete bullcrap. Like, imagine if you were playing a regular game of bowling and you just threw that bowling ball and you know it's going to be a strike. But when that bowling ball collides with the pins, the front pin teleports out of the way while the other 9 pins get knocked out, forcing you to take a spare instead. You would question that very moment. Anyways, when you play all 10 rounds, you just get an ending screen with your score, nothing fancy or interesting. Overall, this mode of the game is extremely underwhelming. I decided to play 3 runs on my totally legit Game Boy Advance before turning it off. I guess I'll move on to the second mode of the port. After the experience that was Elf Bowling, we move on to Elves in Paradise. In this game mode, the elves decide to go on an island vacation with Kringle Dingle, who is a failed ice salesman who is also Santa's older brother. Of course, Santa would join in on the vacation, so Santa and Kringle decide to compete against each other in a game of shuffleboard, and the elves, being the punching bags that they are, get to be pucks. The winner gets to become the new Father Christmas while the loser loses their freaking job. The game of shuffleboard is split into 3 rounds with 4 elves per team per round. To throw an elf, you press a button to trigger the animation and time your next button press to shoot the elf, and depending on when you press the A button, the elf will land in either a dead zone, the 100, the 200 or 300 point lane. Eventually, when a round is over, you and the opponent will get points depending on where each player's elves landed, with the points that the elf provides occasionally getting boosted. The game ends when all 4 rounds are over. The controls in this game mode are better than the first mode, but not by much. You move your character left and right and your shots actually do have power, but it's still easy to land consistent shots by shooting the elves when the indicator is red, and when you do shoot, you'll mostly hit on the 300 point lane every time with no issue. The AI of Kringle is not bad, but it's quite tame since I tied with him on my first game and beat him on my second game. One final thing before my final verdict is that occasionally a Moe will crush on the elves before it gets shoot off, skipping the elf entirely, which is kind of unfair, but I only saw it happen to the opposing player, and not me, so oh well. This game mode is better than the first, but is still underwhelming. I played 2 games before the turn off instead of 3 due to this game lasting longer than the first. This game altogether is innocent, but it's still extremely underwhelming. It has no fun music, no outstanding graphics, no extra content, and no replay value. It was not worth the $20 when it came out in the USA, and I can understand the crap this game gets online, but in my opinion, it's not that bad. I'll still give it the title of GBA's lump of coal, but when I found a much worse Christmas game on the GBA, the title will be gifted to that game. I would recommend to try this game once to see what this game offers, but if you don't like it, don't touch it again. I'll personally give the first game I ever gave a score to a 3 out of 10. This was ThatOneRaisin, and I'll see you in the next review. Kind of curious to see what else the Elf Bowling franchise presides. Wait, a damn movie based on this game exists? What the fuck?